Chapter 1381. Moments later, dozens of figures sat in a temporary tent by the river in Central Province. Sitting at the top were Master Apothecary Yi Wuming, Du Yunlong, Murong Yorua, Eagle King Gong Dao, Li Shui, Yi Zijin, Silver Winged Demonic Condor, and others. Solitary Sword King, Black WM King, Golden Condor King, Han Exin, Guokuan, Meng Laikai, He Jun, Chao Yu, and others were among them. Over the years, Solitary Sword King, Black WM King, and Golden Condor King had already become emperors in terms of cultivation level. Inside the Purple Lightning Profound Cauldron, they had also been tempered by the Purple Gold Profound Lightning, and their talents had increased significantly. With the support of the Desolate Nation and World Society's cultivation resources, their current cultivation level was already close to the Honorable Realm. However, at this moment, the faces of all the World Society's upper echelons in the tent were solemn. Everyone present was well aware of the situation that the World Society was facing. In these years, the World Society's strength had increased greatly, and it was no longer the same as before. However, compared to the behemoths of the One Valley, 2 religions, 3 sects, and 3 schools, the World Society was naturally far inferior. Moreover, the World Society was facing the Evil Purifying Alliance, which included all the first-rate factions in Central Province. Everyone knew that they were at a disadvantage. If they really went to war, the World Society would definitely not be a match for them. Murong Yorua and others had long sensed that Dongli Chihuang wanted to use the Evil Purifying Alliance's name to deal with the Desolate Nation. From the news from various sources, they knew that if not for the Ancient Heaven Sect and Black Talisman Sect's obstruction, the experts of the other major factions would not be fools and would not be used so easily. Otherwise, the Evil Purifying Alliance's army would have stepped into the World Society's territory several months ago. Sister Phantom, Shou Sha, Han Xie, and the rest have any news back? Yes. In the tent, Du Yunlong pondered for a moment before looking at Yi Wuming, Murong Yorua, and the rest. Sister Phantom, Shou Sha, and Han Xie stopped the evil spirits a few months ago. They found out that the evil spirits are getting more and more strange. Their numbers are increasing. Phantom, Beast Sha, and Han Xie have stopped the evil spirits in their way a few million mountains. Li Shui said. Du Yunlong frowned. After a moment, he said in a low voice, "If all of this was done in secret by Dongli Chihuang, it can be considered deliberate planning." Chi. Suddenly, the sound of wind whistling resounded outside the tent, and a bloody and baleful aura spread out, causing one's soul to tremble. The crimson light receded, and a beautiful figure appeared in the tent. Her figure was beautiful, and her face was as elegant as a lotus flower. However, there was a hint of seductiveness in her. It was Phantom. However, at this moment, the Phantom's expression was flustered. Her bright red silk dress was torn in several places, revealing her fair skin. Her beautiful black hair was disheveled, and her aura was extremely weak. "Sister Phantom, what's wrong?" Within the tent, Murong Yorua, Yi Zijin, Li Shui, and the others immediately stood up. Their expressions changed as they rushed to Phantom's side. An expert took action. Shou Sha and Han Xie were captured, and I barely escaped. Biting her red lips, Phantom's eyes surged with blood-red killing intent. The coldness made everyone in the tent feel as if they had fallen into an ice cellar, and their hair stood on end. Is there such an expert among the evil spirits? Yi Zijin frowned. Phantom, Han Xie, and Shou Sha's cultivation had all reached the Great Circle revered realm. Recently, they had devoured many other evil spirits, and they should have made some progress. Moreover, the 3 of them had strong evil spirit bodies, and Phantom's body was even more powerful. Yi Zijin knew that even if she took action, she would not be able to gain much of an advantage in front of Phantom and the other 2. To be able to make Phantom escape in such a sorry state and capture the evil spirit beast, the person's cultivation was definitely not ordinary. It's not an evil spirit, but a human. His strength is very strong, and he is at least at the peak of Nirvana realm. Phantom said in a deep voice, "We received news from some powerful evil spirits that those evil spirits seem to be controlled by someone. After that, the expert appeared and seemed to be after the 3 of us. He only wanted to capture us alive, and did not kill us. That was why I had the chance to escape. In the vast waters, there was a lone island. The area was not big, and the surrounding waves hit the reefs, and water droplets splashed in all directions. A golden-haired young man in a red robe stood on the lone island, and his body seemed to be enveloped in light. His eyes were bright, and he was the saint of the Great Will sect, Dongli Chihuang. Du Yunlong, interesting. The eastern mythical crimson phoenix gazed at the sky. Her eyes were filled with doubt as she said, Du clan, there are so many extraordinary people in the world assembly. Could it be that the Du clan has some kind of treasure? There must be something fishy going on. Chi, a figure quietly landed beside Dongli Chihuang. It was an old man. His hair was in a bun, and he wore plain clothes. The invisible aura on him was extremely strong. If Du Xiaofu were here, he would definitely recognize him. This old man was the Taoist of Changdao from the Great Will sect, and he had always been enemies with his master, Gu Qingyang. Is it done? As the Taoist of Changdao landed, Dongli Chihuang was still looking at the sky indifferently. We captured two. The one that escaped was a demon spirit, and he has some talent in escaping. The Taoist of Changdao nodded. A palm-sized cloth bag that looked like a universal pouch appeared in his palm. It was densely covered with mysterious talisman patterns and released an ancient aura. It's enough to capture two. Heaven helps the good. The Huijian sect, the Infinite sect, the Xindu Gate, and the Xinming sect have no reason to stand by. The Ancient Divine sect and the Xuanfu school can't make any big waves. We've wasted too much time, and we can't waste any more time. Dongli Chihuang murmured, and a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He said softly, I don't know what kind of treasure the Du family has. Maybe there will be some unexpected gains this time. Rumble. In the dark space, in the space of golden thunder and lightning, the golden crow sky-burning thunder was raging, and the thunder kept exploding. In the space, Du Xiaofu's thunder martial vein was covered, and a kind of pressure of punishing the world swept out. The supreme power of thunder and lightning was not to be challenged, and it kept swallowing the golden crow's sky-burning thunder into its body. Above Du Xiaofu's head, the purple thunder profound cauldron was spinning, and it kept swallowing the golden crow's sky-burning thunder. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was using all his strength to activate the purple thunder profound cauldron and the thunder martial vein in his body. The energy of the golden crow's sky-burning thunder was rapidly dissipating, and it was unable to be replenished. The aura of the golden crow's sky-burning thunder was getting weaker and weaker, and its energy was being swallowed to a terrifying extent. This caused the three-legged thunderbird's fierce eyes to be filled with fear and dread. Unknowingly, the golden crow sky-burning thunder realized that it originally wanted to devour the human and seize his treasures and benefits. But now, it had fallen into a situation where it was difficult to escape. It was unable to stop the human's strange martial vein and the three-legged thunder treasure from devouring it. Not good. Finally, the golden crow sky-burning thunder seemed to have completely felt fear, and the huge three-legged thunderbird's body began to crack. Rumble. Streaks of golden lightning surged, and under the golden crow sky-burning thunder's uncontrollable power, they continuously surged towards Du Xiaofu and the purple thunder profound cauldron, and were swallowed by both of them. As the body of the three-legged thunderbird cracked, its size became smaller and smaller. The golden crow sky-burning thunder was using all its strength to block, erupting with terrifying energy. It wanted to forcefully destroy the space, but it was unable to stop the strange human and the three-legged cauldron from devouring it. As more and more of its energy was being devoured, the golden crow sky-burning thunder also felt that under the dual suppression of the strange purple-gold lightning and the strange human's martial vein, it was becoming more and more suppressed. Human, I promise you. From now on, we will mind our own business. If we continue fighting, no one will benefit. The three-legged thunderbird screeched and began to compromise. If this continued, it would be completely devoured sooner or later. That human youth was too strange. It could only think of another way. It's too late now. Du Xiaofu sneered. The golden crow sky-burning thunder was becoming weaker and weaker, and was already an arrow at the end of its flight. He would not believe the words of the Golden Crow sky-burning thunder. Du Xiaofu knew that the Golden Crow sky-burning thunder was not ordinary. Otherwise, it would not have allowed almost all the younger generation of the Golden Winged Rock clan to die under the guard of the Golden Winged Rock clan. Almost all of them were killed. Brat, if you continue fighting, you won't benefit either. Both sides will be injured. If you're smart, you should mind your own business. The three-legged thunderbird roared angrily, and its expression instantly changed. It did not expect that the humans still did not want to stop. Both sides will be injured. You're dreaming. Unfortunately, you won't have the chance again. If I devour you, my primordial spirit should change again. Du Xiaofu's eyes revealed a look of anticipation. Although he knew that fusing with a bolt of spirit lightning was an extremely dangerous thing, he had experienced 2 previous experiences. However, with the previous 2 experiences, every time he fused with a bolt of spiritual lightning, his origin soul would become stronger and stronger. Even though Du Xiaofu had the upper hand, he couldn't help but think of a plan. Since the Golden Crow sky-burning thunder wanted to devour him, he might as well devour the Golden Crow sky-burning thunder himself. TSK, puny human, you actually want to devour me. Even the martial domain realm is not enough. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Suddenly, the three-legged thunderbird, which was constantly cracking and shrinking, completely cracked and turned into a bright golden lightning bolt that engulfed Du Xiaofu from all directions. Chi-la! At the same time, an exceptionally bright golden lightning bolt shot out and appeared in front of Du Xiaofu's forehead at an incomparably terrifying speed. This exceptionally bright golden lightning bolt exploded with the most domineering and destructive aura. It was actually able to resist the devouring of Du Xiaofu's thunder martial vein and was about to rush into Du Xiaofu's forehead. At the same time, Du Xiaofu did not panic at all. The thunder martial vein in his body and the purple thunder profound cauldron above his head were still devouring the Golden Crow sky-burning thunder. Swoosh! At this moment, a silver-yellow lightning arc filled the air between Du Xiaofu's eyebrows. It was as if it had materialized and had an ancient aura, but it also contained a violent and destructive aura. Boom! The silver-yellow arcs of lightning were like bolts of lightning that instantly transformed into a silver-yellow cage of lightning, trapping the dazzling golden lightning that was swiftly flashing towards the space between his eyebrows. At this moment, an ancient and boundless aura suddenly descended. Your primordial spirit has merged with the spiritual Thunder Soul Seed, and it seems that there is more than one kind of spiritual Thunder Soul Seed. Within the silver-yellow lightning cage, the dazzling golden lightning instantly transformed into a 3-legged lightning bird that was 3 meters long. Its entire body was covered in sparkling and translucent lightning that was dazzling like divine gold, and its eyes were filled with absolute astonishment. It is already past 6 a.m., and Xiao Yu is still writing. Today is the first day of the month, and he is starting to step on your tails. I'm wrong. He is starting to ask for flowers and rewards. Of course, Xiao Yu will still return the chapters that he hasn't paid off even though it's already this month. As for the previous 4 days, I wasn't in a good state and didn't update much. Xiao Yu sincerely apologizes to everyone. Chapter 1382. Within the silver-yellow lightning cage, the Golden Crow sky-burning lightning felt the aura of at least 2 types of spiritual lightning soul seeds, as well as an absolutely terrifying pressure. Have you finally revealed your soul seeds? Then you don't have to run anymore. The corners of Du Xiaofu's mouth curled up into a smile. That smile seemed to carry a sense of anticipation and anticipation. As Du Xiaofu's faint voice rang out, the surrounding silver-yellow lightning cage trembled, releasing a violent and destructive pressure. Then, it turned into a giant silver-yellow lightning tree. Boom! As the giant silver-yellow lightning tree appeared, another supreme pressure spread out from the strange silver-yellow lightning tree. It was a mixed pressure, formed from the 2 spiritual lightning soul seeds in Du Xiaofu's Yuan spirit, the silver net soul devouring lightning and the earth-shattering sky thunder, as well as the spiritual root. As the giant silver-yellow lightning tree appeared, mysterious runes covered the entire tree. The ancient and domineering aura could not be provoked, containing violent destruction. This is impossible. How can you merge two spiritual lightning soul seeds? At this moment, the golden crow sky-burning lightning soul seed could no longer calm down. Its gaze trembled as it stared at the giant lightning tree in front of it. The terrifying energy contained within the giant silver-yellow lightning tree made its heart tremble. Everything happened extremely quickly. An ancient pressure spread out from within the giant silver-yellow lightning tree. It was as though one was facing a king that could not be resisted. The giant silver-yellow lightning tree erupted with mysterious runes, instantly covering the front of the three-legged thunderbird. Boom! A majestic and desolate aura spread out, as if a supreme being had ascended to the heavens. At this moment, the golden crow sky-burning lightning wanted to block it, only to find that it was suppressed by several kinds of forces. It was unable to replenish its energy, and could no longer hold on. Crackle! At the same time, the silver-yellow lightning tree filled the air like tree roots, breaking through the defense of the golden crow sky-burning lightning and covering the crystal-clear three-legged thunderbird. As if taking root and sprouting, it absorbed the energy in the three-legged thunderbird's body, absorbing its nutrients. The three-legged thunderbird, which contained a tyrannical and blazing destructive energy, started to distort. Its sparkling and translucent body started to wither and shrivel. This is impossible, no one can fuse with me, this is impossible. The three-legged thunderbird screeched as despair gradually filled its eyes. At this moment, the soul seed of the golden crow heaven-burning lightning was the clearest that the silver-yellow giant lightning tree was actually devouring its soul seed's power. It was already powerless and unable to resist. Wanzhou, one of the world's Kyushu. The vastness of Wanzhou was not inferior to any other continent. Of course, Wanzhou was also full of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. Experts were as common as clouds, and there were many huge forces. Compared to the central state's 1 valley, 2 religions, 3 sects, 3 schools, and 9 great forces, those huge forces were absolutely not inferior. They were completely able to contend with them. The night was quiet, the moonlight was hazy, and the stars were blurry. High up in the sky, the bright moon and the stars intertwined, illuminating each other. The majestic mountain peak was shrouded in darkness. 18 figures knelt on one knee. The 18 youths all looked to be around 26 or 27 years old, and every one of them was extraordinary. Heavens above, earth below, I am Yi Piaoling. Second brother Chen Guyu. Third brother Yen Yi. Fourth brother Mo Sha. Fifth brother Ing Yen. Sixth brother Yin Tianjue. Seventh brother Gu Wuying. Third brother Silver Fox. Ninth brother Shi Tu. 10th brother Yang Yiji. 11th brother Jiang Yinfeng. 12 pools returning to seclusion. 13 Chen tombs. 14th brother Mo Qianshuan. 15th brother Yu Wenhanli. 16th brother Fei Yu. 17th brother Wen Yichen. 18th brother Mu Rubai. Today, we are sworn brothers of the opposite sex. From now on, we will face difficulties together, share blessings together, and advance and retreat together. If we violate this oath, lightning will strike us, and we will fall into the 18 levels of hell, beyond redemption. 18 voices spread out, echoing in the night sky. The 18 youths kowtowed to the moon. After 3 simultaneous sounds, the 18 youths stood up, and 18 invisible sharp auras spread out, solidifying this part of the world. The 18 youths looked at each other, their eyes flashing with smiles. 18 heavenly guards, from now on, we 18 brothers will share blessings and hardships together. Among the 18 youths, a tall and slender black-robed youth looked at everyone. Under his bangs, his eyes were sharp, and there was a smile on his face. He was Yi Piaoling, the head of the Heavenly Guards of the World Association. In the Central Plains, he had already made a name for himself with his outstanding talent and decisive character. Back then, he was very famous in the Central Plains. Among the 18 youths, a silk-clothed youth walked out. His eyes were bright, and his slender figure left mottled shadows under the moonlight. His hair was black, and his back was straight, as if there was a huge amount of tenacious energy in his body. The silk-clothed youth looked at Yi Piaoling and said, "Big brother, tomorrow I, Yi Piaoling looked at the silk-clothed youth and interrupted him. He smiled faintly and said, 18, we are brothers. Tomorrow's matter, I will be there, and everyone else will be there. Yes, 18, with us and Big Brother here tomorrow, there won't be a problem. A tall and handsome young man in a blue and white robe walked out. His aura was overbearing, like that of a ferocious beast. He gently patted the shoulder of the young man in silk clothes and smiled. Then, he looked at Yi Piaoling and curled his lips slightly. He said, Boss, do you want me to fight tomorrow? I also want to fight that woman. My hands are itching. What do you think? Yi Piaoling rolled his eyes at Chenguyu before looking at the moon in the sky. He smiled and murmured, 100 charm, 1,000 beauty, Flower Zimo, seems to be as famous as the president back then. Early in the morning, a faint light appeared on the eastern horizon, carefully soaking the blue sky. Then, a beautiful morning glow filled the sky with a thin veil of mist. Strands of golden light shrouded the titanic crescent city, and the vast city began to be filled with vitality. Countless figures rushed out from all over the city, heading towards the same place. Few people in Wanzhou didn't know that Titanic Crescent City belonged to the 100 Flowers Gate. As for the 100 Flowers Gate, everyone knew that it was one of the top powers in Wanzhou. It was the holy land of cultivation for the younger generation. The 100 Flowers Gate was located in the east of the Wanzhou province. The headquarters of the 100 Flowers Gate was located within the Grand 100 Flowers mountain range. The vast mountain range was densely covered with exotic flowers and plants. Thousands of flowers bloomed throughout the year, and the fragrance of the flowers spread far and wide. It could be considered a unique existence in the Wanzhou province. Such a strange place was very pleasing to the eye, but no one dared to infect it because it was right next to the 100 Flowers Gate. It was that simple. Titanic Crescent City wasn't far from the 100 Flowers Gate's headquarters. Because of this, it was very prosperous and had a large area. Today, the Titanic Crescent City seemed to be particularly lively. Just as the sky began to brighten, many people rushed out from all over the city and gathered in the vast square. The towering buildings around the gigantic Crescent City Square were packed with people. Around the square, there were already tall and straight figures in armor standing tall and straight. Their auras were sharp and fierce. From the flower-shaped insignia on their armor, they all came from a power that could shake the entire Wanzhou, the 100 Flowers Gate. Everyone in Wanzhou knew about the 100 Flowers Gate. It had as many experts as the clouds. It was rumored that the 100 Flowers Gate had existed for a long time. Over the years, the entire Wanzhou had experienced countless storms. Many large sects had fallen in the storm, but the 100 Flowers Gate had always stood tall in Wanzhou. Generation after generation of young disciples from the 100 Flowers Gate were able to make a name for themselves in the outside world. Every generation of young disciples of the 100 Flowers Gate had someone who could stand out among their peers in Wanzhou. This made the 100 Flowers Gate's position more and more stable. Today, Hua Zimo will personally take action. I'm really looking forward to it. The square was densely packed with people. Looking from afar, it seemed like there was no end in sight. Some people were whispering with excitement in their eyes. Today, the 100 Flowers Gate's Hua Zimo would take action. It could be said that at least 90% of the people in the crowd were here for Hua Zimo. Perhaps some people came to see the legendary beauty of Hua Zimo, or perhaps some people came purely for Hua Zimo's strength. But there was no doubt that Hua Zimo was the most important protagonist today. Her halo far surpassed the other protagonists today. Chapter 1383. As for the other main character, he was a nobody in Wanzhou. Yi Piaoling was an unfamiliar name in Wanzhou. However, this unknown youth in Wanzhou was going to fight against the 100 Flowers Gate's charming 1,000 Flowers Hua Zimo. This caused the majority of the people to feel disdain in their hearts. The reason was simple. The 100 Flowers Gate's Hua Zimo was the leading figure of Wanzhou's younger generation. It was said that back in the Tianhuang continent, Hua Zimo was as famous as the pure-blooded descendants of the dragons and phoenixes. In the past few years, there had been quite a number of people from the younger generation of the entire Wanzhou who had challenged Hua Zimo, including the top disciples of the younger generation of the various top forces. However, the final victor had always been Hua Zimo. Where did Yi Pialing come from? How dare he fight Hua Zimo? He's probably courting death. It said that Yi Pialing fought Hua Zimo because of Mu Rubai. Mu Rubai? That guy is a terrifying master. I don't know where he came from, but he killed so many people from the 100 Flowers Gate alone. Even an elder from the 100 Flowers Gate died at his hands. Everyone in the Titanic Crescent City was well aware of the cause and effect of today's events. Everyone in the Titanic Crescent City was well aware of what had happened today. Although Yi Pialing was a stranger in Wanzhou, the other main character of this matter, Mu Rubai, was also infamous in Wanzhou. Wanzhou was vast and rich in resources, and there were many hidden dragons and crouching tigers. Although most of the top younger generation came from those large factions, there were still dark horses that would occasionally appear. Mu Rubai was the absolute dark horse of Wanzhou's younger generation. Back in a competition among the younger generation, Mu Rubai had entered the top 10 as a dark horse, shocking the entire Wanzhou for a time. However, not long after, news spread that Mu Rubai had taken away an inner sect female disciple from the 100 Flowers Gate. The two eloped and were immediately hunted down by the 100 Flowers Gate. One had to know that the inner sect female disciples of the 100 Flowers Gate were all extraordinarily beautiful, and their appearances were also outstanding. However, the inner sect female disciples of the 100 Flowers sect were forbidden from marrying outsiders. They could only marry other inner sect disciples. That was the rule before they joined the sect. Under the pursuit of the entire 100 Flowers Gate, Mu Rubai could only hide with the female disciple. However, in the end, she was unable to escape the pursuit of the 100 Flowers Gate. In the final battle, Mu Rubai was no match for the 100 Flowers Gate, and the female inner sect disciple had already been captured. In the end, Mu Rubai escaped with heavy injuries. That battle had caused the 100 Flowers Gate great losses. One of their elders had been killed by Mu Rubai out of anger. Mu Ruabai's actions had undoubtedly provoked the 100 Flowers Gate. Since Mu Rubai was of the younger generation, Hua Zimo walked out of the 100 Flowers Gate. 3 months later, she found Mu Rubai in a Wanzhou ominous ground. But at this time, 17 youths appeared beside Mu Rubai. The leader was the youth called Yi Pialing. In the end, no one knew what happened. For some reason, Hua Zimo did not fight with Mu Rubai and the others. Instead, they agreed to meet 7 days later in Titanic Crescent City. Yi Pialing and Hua Zimo would fight to settle the matter between Mu Rubai and the 100 Flowers Gate. Today was the date of the battle. Hua Zimo was going to fight, causing the entire Titanic Crescent City to boil over. Many people nearby heard the news and immediately rushed into Titanic Crescent City. Some people wanted to catch a glimpse of Hua Zimo's beautiful face, while others wanted to know the current strength of the leading figure of Wanzhou's younger generation, Hua Zimo, to what extent she had reached. The densely packed crowd completely congested the streets around the plaza. The sound of discussion was very noisy, causing people to feel their ears ringing. There are so many people. Do you think Yi Pialing and the others have already run away? They don't dare to appear today. Where can they run to in Wanzhou? They can't escape the 100 Flowers Gate's pursuit. But then again, that Mu Ruabai's guts are really big. She even dared to take away an inner court female disciple of the 100 Flowers Gate. How many men in Wanzhou can only secretly dream about it? I'm so envious. The one with the guts should be Yi Pialing. She actually dared to fight with Hua Zimo. It's said that if Yi Pialing loses today, she and Mu Rubai will cripple their own cultivation. Mu Rubai and Yi Pialing will be miserable. It's said that Hua Zimo has already reached the peak of the transcendent martial saint realm and has been in seclusion for the 100 Flowers Gate. She only came out recently because of Mu Rubai. If during this period of time, Hua Zimo has already broken through to the primordial martial saint realm, then Yi Pialing and Mu Rubai will be even more miserable, right? The primordial martial saint realm is a powerful existence. How many experts of the older generation have not set foot in it? No matter how strong Hua Zimo's talent is, it won't be easy for her to break through. The densely packed crowd was clamoring, and the sun was high in the sky. Walala, in the sky, the fragrance of flowers suddenly filled the air, causing people to feel relaxed and happy. From high up in the sky, petals poured down onto the vast square. Boom! Just as everyone raised their eyes in surprise, the sky suddenly trembled, and a dazzling and resplendent rune light swept down. The resplendent light caused the countless gazes around the square to be unable to open their eyes. In the next instant, when the resplendent light disappeared, many people opened their eyes slightly and narrowed their eyes. At this moment, they saw over 100 figures appear in the square. It's the people from the 100 Flowers Gate. In an instant, someone exclaimed as they looked at the hundreds of figures that had appeared in the square. An uproar of surprise immediately spread out. There were men and women, old and young, but all of them had extraordinary temperaments. The middle-aged men and women, as well as the old man, each of their bodies emitted a vigorous pressure, causing people to feel an extremely dangerous feeling when they looked at them. Many young men and women were tall and straight. Their faces were cold as they stood upright. The aura that faintly emanated from their bodies was also very astonishing and extraordinary. At this moment, the most eye-catching person was none other than the graceful figure in front of the crowd. She wore a lotus-colored gauze shirt, and her long light red curly hair draped over her back. She was gently tied up with a silver ribbon. Faint runes fluctuated around her, as if there was a light mist surrounding her. The woman landed on the square and only slightly raised her eyes to look at the sky. Her face was beautiful, her skin was sparkling like snow, and her eyes were filled with charm. Hua Zmo, that's Miss Hua Zmo. Seeing the woman, the surrounding square immediately resounded with cries of surprise. Many people's eyes were blazing and dazed, as if their souls had been sucked out. Charming and beautiful Hua Zmo. She had once made a name for herself on the Tianhuang continent in a short period of time, becoming one of the 12 heroes. These 12 heroes included the 9th Prince of the Dragons, Dragon 9, Huang Linger of the Phoenix Clan, Mu Jianshan of the Shang continent, Qinggu of the Thunder continent, Hua Zmo of the Wanzhou continent, Feng Wuxie of the Yu continent, Yuzheng Tongxian of the Cloud continent, Qin Demon Shangguan Qi Demon King Du Xiaofu, and so on. This was enough to prove her worth. And in the Wanzhou continent, Hua Zmo was the pride of the Wanzhou 100 Flowers Gate. If nothing unexpected happened, she would almost be the next sect master of the 100 Flowers Gate. Her heavenly beauty was astonishing, and she was as beautiful as a fairy. This kind of woman was enough to make all the men in the Wanzhou continent boil, and ordinary men would not even have the confidence to approach her. Whoosh whoosh, not long after the people of the 100 Flowers Gate landed on the square, the sound of wind breaking suddenly resounded outside the titanic crescent city. A long streak of light seemed to be breaking through the air. In just 2 flashes, under the gazes of hundreds of millions of people, the streaks of light landed on the square like lightning. Boom! A total of 18 streaks of light converged, and 18 youths landed on the ground. 18 invisible auras fluctuated, causing the space around the square to quietly tremble. The 18 youths stood tall and straight, causing all eyes to look at them. It was as if they were 18 javelins on the ground, giving off a sharp feeling that made people's hearts tremble for no reason. Everyone's gaze landed on the 18 youths. The 18 youths gave off the feeling of a ferocious beast. Their bodies emitted a sharp aura that carried the smell of blood. This kind of aura couldn't exist without experiencing blood and slaughter. It was enough to prove that these 18 youths all had a common characteristic, and that was that they were all tempered by a path of slaughter. As the 18 youths appeared on the square, many faces of the 100 Flowers Gate trembled inwardly. Hua Zmo's beautiful eyes looked at the 18 youths, and in the end she fixed her eyes on the black-robed youth in front of them. Her delicate hand gently stroked the hair in front of her forehead, and her eyes were full of charm. She faintly smiled, and her beauty could cause the downfall of a country. She softly said, "I didn't think that you guys would really come." Yi Piaoling's eyes slightly twitched. He was slender and emitted a faint aura of indifference. His eyes were sharp as he looked at Hua Zmo and said, "What is there to be afraid of?" Hua Zmo looked at the black-robed youth in front of her, and her eyes secretly flickered. Then she smiled and said to Yi Piaoling, I always thought that in the world, only the demon king Du Xiaofu was strong. To deal with you, I don't think the president needs to make a move. Yi Piaoling's thin lips were filled with arrogance as he spoke. His eyes didn't even look at Hua Zimo's body for half a second. Hua Zimo was secretly stunned. She looked at the arrogant smile on Yi Piaoling's thin lips, and her beautiful eyes began to shine. However, she was still full of charm and inexplicably moving. At this moment, countless men around her were dumbfounded. For the sake of your president, as long as you hand over Mu Ruabai, I can let you go. Hua Zimo gently said. Mu Ruabai is my brother, and I am his big brother. I will shoulder his matter. Yi Piaoling's indifferent tone was filled with a kind of sharpness in his eyes. So what if it's the 100 Flowers Gate? We brothers will shoulder it together. A youth walked out. His blue and white robe fluttered in the wind. His whole body was tall and sturdy, like the incarnation of a ferocious beast. He gave people a kind of incomparably fierce feeling. He was Chen Guyu. Boom! The group of youths behind him stepped out. Their auras gushed out, and their eyes were sharp and fierce. Facing the 100 Flowers Gate, they didn't retreat in the slightest. Mu Ruabai's robe fluttered slightly. Looking at the group of brothers beside him, a light rippled in his eyes. Chapter 1384. Fierce auras filled the air, and the sound waves reverberated throughout the square. It was as if there was a magical power that caused the blood in many people's bodies to inexplicably tremble. As the voices of the dozen or so youths fell, the space above the square froze. Countless gazes turned sluggish in an instant. The 18 youths were so arrogant and fierce that they did not back down in the slightest in the face of the 100 Flowers Gate. Those 18 youths are so handsome. They're so cool. I wonder what their names are. Ripples appeared in the eyes of many women in the square. The 18 tall and fierce figures and arrogant auras stirred the hearts of many women. In the square, many female disciples of the 100 Flowers Gate were moved as they looked at the 18 youths. Their hearts were filled with shock. Among the younger generation in the entire Wanzhou, there were probably not many youths who could be compared to them. Hua Zimo looked at the 18 people in front of her, her thin eyebrows slightly knitted. Then she smiled faintly and looked at Yi Piaoling again. Her red and tender lips carried a kind of temptation as she said, Then let's fight. If you can defeat me, the grudge between the 100 Flowers Gate and Mu Ruabai will be written off. If you lose, you and Mu Ruabai will cripple your own cultivation. Let's fight. You're a woman, so I'll let you fight first. Yi Piaoling nodded. The strands of hair in front of his forehead moved slightly, and a sharpness gushed out from the depths of his jet-black eyes. Hee. Hearing this, Hua Zimo looked at Yi Piaoling in a daze. Then she laughed delicately, and her body swayed back and forth. However, it did not affect her image at all. Instead, it had a kind of seductive beauty. After a moment, Hua Zimo withdrew her smile and said to Yi Piaoling, Let's fight in another space. This titanic crescent city can't withstand the torment. But Yi Piaoling only replied with a simple word, his thin lips held a hint of pride. Walala. Hua Zimo did not speak again. The runes on her body poured down like a rain of light, lingering around like clouds and mist. All of a sudden, Hua Zimo's charming temperament began to become pure and holy. Her temperament was calm and unhurried. Fight. As her simple words fell, her voice resounded. In the next instant, above Hua Zimo's head, winds and clouds began to surge in the depths of the heavens. Dark clouds gathered in the depths of the sky, covering the sky and the sun. Hua Zimo's graceful and delicate body seemed to be enveloped by countless flower petals. Hua Zimo's beautiful figure drew a beautiful arc as she soared into the sky. She quickly entered the dark clouds that covered the sky. Yi Piaoling looked at the sky with an indifferent expression. Light flashed under his feet as he rose from the ground and followed Yi Qingyu into the depths of the sky. He quietly disappeared into the churning dark clouds. Spatial ripples rippled in the surroundings as runes spread, opening up the space battlefield. I never thought that Hua Zimo would be able to enter the space battlefield at that stage. It is said that one must at least reach the martial domain realm to be able to do so. Could it be that Hua Zimo has actually broken through to the martial domain realm? Looking at the scene in the square, many knowledgeable people immediately trembled. Opening up the space battlefield, how powerful was that? If Hua Zimo had already reached the martial domain realm, then it was too abnormal. She was simply a monster. It doesn't seem like it. Maybe Hua Zimo has a treasure that can expand the space battlefield. She is afraid of destroying gigantic Crescent City. Soon after, some people saw some clues. Hua Zimo should not have reached the martial domain realm, but she should have a spatial treasure in her hands. Just now, Hua Zimo mentioned the World Assembly and the Demon King Du Xiaofu. Could it be that Yi Piaoling and the Demon King Du Xiaofu have something to do with each other? Demon King Du Xiaofu, what a familiar name. I seem to have heard it somewhere before. Have you forgotten? The leader of the 12 divine heroes is the Demon King Du Xiaofu. The dragons, Dragon 9, were skinned by the Demon King in the end. Rumor has it that the Demon King Du Xiaofu is also the president of the World Assembly. Yi Piaoling and the others should be related to the World Assembly, so they should be the Demon King's people. I remember now. So it's the ferocious Demon King. Who will win in the end? Countless onlookers around the square were stunned when they saw Hua Zimo and Yi Piaoling enter the depths of the firmament of heaven. Originally, they wanted to watch a good show. But now that they were in the space battlefield, they couldn't even peek inside. In the square, 17 people, led by Chang Guyu, Yin Hu and the others, stood upright like 17 javelins. The gray space was filled with spatial turbulence, as if it was going to collapse at any time. Yi Piaoling looked around, and his deep black eyes showed some fluctuations. It was an independent space, so the treasure must be extraordinary. Hua Zimo looked at Yi Piaoling and said with a faint smile, "This is one of the treasures of my 100-flower gate, but it will not suppress your cultivation and strength. I will not have the advantage, so you can fight without worry." "Let's do it." I said, "You go first." Yi Piaoling looked at Hua Zimo, and he didn't dare to be careless. Hee. Hua Zimo smiled, and the charm on her body turned holy. The runes on her body were like divine light, and her graceful figure was surrounded by countless petals, which turned into a whirlpool. In the next moment, the graceful figure was bathed in the bright petals, and the fragrance of the flowers overflowed. Boom! Hua Zimo moved, and her beautiful figure flew across the sky. Her delicate hand was covered with energy, and it was as fast as lightning and as powerful as thunder, rushing towards Yi Piaoling. Just with Hua Zimo's attack, Yi Piaoling's dark eyes changed, and he knew that he had met a strong opponent. The woman who looked charming on the surface was, in fact, extremely terrifying. She was one of the 12 heroes, and she was as famous as the president. Swish! At this moment, Yi Piaoling's sharp and deep eyes emitted a sharp aura, which made the temperature of the space suddenly drop. That sharp and dense aura made people shiver for no reason. Their hair stood on end, and a chill ran down their spines. Swish! Yi Piaoling made his move, and a sharp and cold aura spread out from his body. In the black evil aura, he swept his hand, and the black profound energy along with the runes destroyed and corroded everything, resisting Hua Zimo's attack. Hua Zimo's expression changed slightly, and she burst out with a more vigorous and holy aura, which was powerful and terrifying. Her delicate hands kept forming hand seals, and Hua Zimo's attacks were like thunder, making the runes in the space shine and sweep towards Yi Piaoling. Yi Piaoling's eyes were sharp, and his aura was cold. His black robe fluttered, and he faced Hua Zimo head-on. All these years, Yi Piaoling had been advancing in fighting and breaking through in killing. In the sealed ancient land, he had obtained the ancient inheritance. In the purple thunder profound cauldron, he had also been refined by divine thunder on the basis of the sacred body arts. He was Yi Piaoling, the head of the World Society's heavenly guards. He was low-key and not flamboyant, but his name had quietly shaken the central state. He was like a wolf in the dark, an invisible blade in the World Society. Many people in Zhongzhou were even more afraid of Yi Piaoling than of Du Yunlong. They were afraid of the World Society, which was like a rising sun. Boom! A great battle broke out, the runes were dazzling, and the space trembled. A man and a woman. The man was fierce and murderous, like a fierce wolf king in the dark. The woman was pure and charming, like a fairy, like the most beautiful blooming flower of 100 flowers. Peak extraordinary Marshal revered, I didn't expect you to reach this step. Hua Zimo said, her voice clear and moving. You seem to be one step away from the origin realm. Yi Piaoling's voice was calm, but it was inexplicably arrogant, like an elf in the dark. Boom! As the two of them exchanged blows, dazzling radiance burst out continuously. The entire space shook as though it was about to be destroyed. Countless people in the Juk City Square looked up. Among the 18 heavenly generals written yesterday, Silver Fox was the third. Silver Fox should have been the eighth. The previous text has been changed, and it caused inconvenience. Apologies. Chapter 1385. Watching the 18 figures leave, Hua Zimo's eyes flickered. Zimo, this matter concerns the prestige of our 100 Flowers Gate. If we let them go, it will be detrimental to our 100 Flowers Gate. A beautiful middle-aged woman quietly appeared beside Hua Zimo. The invisible aura on her body fluctuated, giving people a feeling of extreme danger. I did not win. Hua Zimo bitterly smiled. Could it be that you lost? Hearing this, the beautiful middle-aged woman suddenly looked at Hua Zimo in shock. Her eyes were filled with disbelief, and she could not accept this fact. I did not lose either. Hua Zimo looked at the beautiful middle-aged woman and shook her head. The Yi Piaoling is very special. He is different from the Demon King Du Xiaofu. If we want to determine the winner, we will have to fight to the death. Otherwise, it will be somewhat unfair to him. He only uses killing moves, and in an ordinary battle, he will not be able to use his full strength. Could it be that this matter is over? The beautiful woman slightly frowned. If Yi Piaoling and Mu Rubai were allowed to leave, it would undoubtedly be a great loss of face for the 100 Flowers Gate. This battle has not been decided yet. Hua Zimo slightly smiled, then looked at the beautiful woman and said, besides, this is also a good thing. I have time to prepare for a breakthrough. Yi Piaoling is stronger than I imagined. With my current cultivation, even if I use my full strength, I do not have much confidence. That boy, is he really that strong? The beautiful woman slightly frowned. She seemed to have some doubts about Yi Piaoling's strength. There were only a few people in Kyushu who could make Hua Zimo praise them. Hua Zimo slightly smiled and did not say anything more. She paused for a moment and said, this is also good. They are members of the world society. Even if I win today, if I really cripple their cultivation, I am afraid it will cause a lot of trouble for my 100 Flowers Gate. My 100 Flowers Gate is not afraid of trouble. The beautiful woman slightly raised her eyebrows. The 100 Flowers Gate stood tall in Wanzhou and had a huge foundation. Crippling 2 people was not a big deal. Hearing this, Hua Zimo smiled at the beautiful woman and said, second senior sister, don't forget, the World Summit belongs to the Demon King Du Xiaofu. Hearing this, the woman's face immediately twitched. She had personally witnessed the Demon King Du Xiaofu back on the Tianhuang continent. He dug out the bones of dragons, drank their blood, and skinned Dragon 9. Just how brutal was that? The 100 Flowers Gate was massive, but it was naturally inferior to the dragons. Rumor has it that the Demon King, Du Xiaofu, is being hunted down by the devil religion. One of the sects, the 7-Star Hall, has also been massacred. Right now, their whereabouts are unknown. They have disappeared for a long time. After being stunned for a while, the beautiful woman said with a grin. But the devil religion doesn't seem to be able to do anything to him. Hua Zimo's eyes revealed a slight smile. Looking in the direction that the 18 youths left, she muttered softly, that Demon King is brutal, and the people around him are also very special. After Yi Piaoling and the other 18 youths left, the entire Titanic Crescent City suddenly fell silent. Everyone looked at the sky and then looked at each other, not knowing what had happened. What exactly is going on? Did Yi Piaoling win? Did they decide the victor? Why did Yi Piaoling and Mu Ruobai leave? Hua Zimo doesn't seem to have lost. This is so strange. Looking at the situation, it seems a bit like a tie. There were all kinds of discussions and speculations. After a long time, the crowd helplessly dispersed. For the onlookers in Titanic Crescent City, they were really helpless today. Not only did they not see the battle with their own eyes, but they also did not know the outcome of the battle. However, from today onwards, Yi Piaoling, Mu Ruobai, and the other 18 youths' names began to spread from Titanic Crescent City to Wanzhou. Yi Piaoling was able to fight with Hua Zimo and not lose. This was enough to send out a lot of information to the entire Wanzhou. Whoosh whoosh, in the calm sky, the sound of wind breaking suddenly resounded. 18 figures flashed across the sky and landed on a mountain peak in the distance. The 18 youths landed on the ground. All of them were tall and straight and had extraordinary temperaments. They were the 18 celestial guards that had left Titanic Crescent City not long ago. "Boss, you won?" On the mountain peak, Stone stepped forward. He had a strong and honest physique and looked at Yi Piaoling happily. After entering the Celestial General Guard, Stone had followed Yi Piaoling, Qingguyu, Anya Cha, Duo Sha, and the others everywhere to temper themselves. His cultivation base had soared, and his body had begun to exude a sense of cleverness. "That woman is very strong. Even if I used all my strength, I'm afraid it would be difficult to defeat her." Yi Piaoling smiled, but there seemed to be a hint of bitterness in her smile. She then said, "But if it was a battle of life and death, perhaps my chances of survival would be higher." Hua Zimo, the 100 Flower Gates Heaven's Pride, the leader of the younger generation in Wanzhou. She was also the leader of the Evil Purifying Alliance. Naturally, she's extraordinary. "Boss, it's already very abnormal that you didn't win against her." A young man in a brocade robe walked out. He had a handsome appearance and fair skin. It was as if he always had a carefree smile on his face, as if he was the little brother next door. However, under the seemingly pure smile in his eyes, there was a volcano that was being suppressed. Only those who were familiar with this young man would know how terrifying this handsome little brother next door could be when his face changed. It was said that back in the Lan province, an empire's prince provoked him and was killed. After that, the empire sent people to hunt him down. Enraged, the young man single-handedly slaughtered his way into the imperial palace and used divine abilities to slaughter an army of 100,000. He destroyed the imperial palace and absorbed the imperial energy. Even the golden dragon imperial jade seal was taken away by him. Even now, there was a huge force behind the empire that was still hunting him down. He had no choice but to come to Wanzhou. However, the little god of slaughter, Duan Feiyu, was infamous in the Lan province. "Old 16, there's always someone better than you. My strength is far from enough." Yi Piaoling said to Duan Feiyu. "Apart from those old people, there shouldn't be many people in the same generation who can deal with you, right?" Duan Feiyu smiled. As far as he knew, they were not afraid of anyone in the younger generation, let alone the eldest and the second eldest. Their physical bodies were already terrifying. "You should say this to the president in the future." Chang Guyu patted Old 16's shoulder and smiled. "The leader of the 12 heroes who killed the Dragon 9 dragons. He's a peak existence in the same generation. Is the president really as strong as the rumors say?" Little god of slaughter, Duan Feiyu's eyebrows slightly raised. He said, "If there's a chance, I'd like to try." "Ha, Silver Fox, Stone, Anya Chi, Gu Wuing in Tianjue, Ing Yen, Chengguyu, and Yi Piaoling gazed at Duan Feiyu when they heard this, and all of them smiled silently while their gazes revealed encouragement that seemed like praise. Duo Sha walked up and patted Little God of Slaughter's shoulder. He said sincerely, "Old 16, your courage is commendable. Back then I had the same idea as you. But then what?" Little God of Slaughter, Duan Feiyu frowned. He felt that there was something wrong with the expressions of Old 16 and Old 16, so he asked Duo Sha curiously. "In the end, I gave up." Duo Sha smiled at Little God of Slaughter and said seriously, "I hope you'll be stronger than me when the time comes. Don't shrink back. I'll cheer you on." "Is that so, Little God of Slaughter?" Duan Feiyu frowned. He felt that there was something wrong with the expressions of Duo Sha, Gu Wuing, and Silver Fox. "All right, we have to hurry back to the central province." Suddenly, Yi Piaoling interrupted everyone. His pitch-black eyes suddenly surged with a dignified expression, and his aura became fierce. "Boss, what's wrong?" Changgu asked. He had long wanted to say something. Ever since the battle with Hua Zimo in Titanic Tower City, he felt that something was wrong. Yi Piaoling didn't say anything. He took out a dim jade slip that was broken into several pieces. On the jade slip, one could vaguely see the emblem of a golden-winged rock's shadow. Not good, something must have happened to the world society. Seeing the broken jade slip, Chang Guyu, Stone, Silver Fox, and Anya Ying's expressions changed. That was the jade slip that Medicine King Yi Wuming gave to Yi Piaoling when they left the central province. If the jade slip was broken, it meant that the world society was in great danger. They had to hurry back immediately. "Let's go to the wormhole. We have to hurry back to the central province." Yi Piaoling's pitch-black eyes were sharp. His black robe fluttered in the wind as he clenched his fists. Whoosh whoosh, one figure after another flew into the sky and disappeared into the horizon. In the golden-winged rock clan, in the collapsed space that no one could peek into, the golden lightning began to subside. The silver-yellow lightning giant tree continued to release a violent and destructive aura. Mysterious runes covered the entire tree. The ancient and domineering aura could not be provoked as it continued to devour the three-footed Thunderbird. No, the three-footed Thunderbird's body was covered in sparkling and translucent lightning. It was as bright as divine gold. His eyes were filled with absolute horror. The sky-burning golden crow thunder's soul seed had been devoured to its limit. If it was devoured again, its soul would be destroyed. "It's too late," Du Xiaofu said. The lightning martial veins in his body devoured the sky-burning golden crow thunder. The silver-yellow lightning giant tree on his body emitted a supreme aura. The ancient aura spread out, bringing with it a magnificent and desolate aura. Supreme rule the heavens. At this moment, the sky-burning golden crow thunder could no longer be stopped. It was suppressed in several ways and was unable to replenish its energy. It could no longer hold on. Crackle! The silver-yellow lightning giant tree was filled with lightning arcs. It was as if the tree's roots were covering the sparkling three-footed Thunderbird's body. It absorbed the three-footed Thunderbird's energy until it completely withered and shrieked in despair. When the last wisp of bright golden lightning energy was devoured by the silver-yellow lightning giant tree, the sky-burning golden crow thunder's soul seed was also completely devoured. In addition, the golden crow heaven-burning lightning had been trapped for thousands of years, and it was unable to recover after using up its energy. In the end, it ended up being swallowed by Du Xiaofu. Although the golden crow heaven-burning lightning's energy could not be replenished, it was still at the initial domain level. A spiritual thunder soul seed at the initial domain level was extremely powerful. It was equivalent to the primordial spirit. The energy of the spiritual thunder soul seed had all gathered in Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit. Now that Du Xiaofu had fused with the soul-type seed, Du Xiaofu's Yuan spirit had also benefited greatly. Walala! Not long after, the primordial spirit energy in Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit began to increase crazily. The primordial spirit's aura rose, and waves of aura fluctuations were emitted from between his eyebrows. The mysterious incomplete technique had fused with the soul-type seed of the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. It had also refined the energy contained in the soul-type seed, making it even purer. Although the spiritual thunder soul seed's energy that Du Xiaofu could absorb was only 10 to 20% of the original soul-type seed of the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. However, 10 to 20% of the soul-type seed of the initial domain level was definitely not something that an ordinary Nirvana spiritual talisman master could withstand. It was enough to make an ordinary Nirvana spiritual talisman master self-destruct. Fortunately, Du Xiaofu was not an ordinary Nirvana spiritual talisman master. The strength of his primordial spirit was definitely not inferior to his physical body. It was just that he rarely used the strength of his primordial spirit to fight against enemies. Walala, time passed slowly. The primordial spirit aura on Du Xiaofu's body soared. Silver-gold electric arcs overflowed from between his eyebrows. The The vast and majestic primordial spirit energy swept out from his body, accompanied by the silver net soul-devouring lightning, earth-shattering lightning, golden crow heaven-burning lightning, and the spiritual roots aura. At this moment, if there were other spiritual talisman masters present, who knew how shocked they would be when they felt Du Xiaofu's abnormal primordial spirit aura. At this moment, the primordial spirit energy that permeated from Du Xiaofu's body was enough to directly crush the primordial spirit of a spiritual talisman master of the same level. What was even more frightening was that Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit aura was still continuing to soar. The primordial spirit energy, which was the most difficult to cultivate, was rising unstoppably in front of Du Xiaofu. While refining the soul-type seed of the golden crow heaven-burning lightning, time passed quietly again. In this golden lightning space that no one could pry into, most of the golden crow heaven-burning lightning energy had been absorbed into the purple thunder profound cauldron and swallowed by the purple gold profound lightning. The remaining golden crow heaven-burning lightning energy had also restrained its domineering heat and destruction, becoming docile. No one knew that the golden crow heaven-burning lightning was not only unable to do anything to Du Xiaofu, but it also allowed Du Xiaofu to transform and strengthen again. The continuous mountain range was dense and steaming, and there were extraordinary spiritual herbs everywhere. The energy of heaven and earth was astonishing. Early in the morning, at the peak of the mountain, a woman in her early 20s had her eyes closed. Her body was surrounded by a dazzling white light, like a divine light enveloping and spreading. Boom! Waves of vast pressure spread out, and waves of heaven and earth energy occupied the peak of the mountain, connecting with the woman. It seemed to have lasted for a long time. The woman's two curves seemed to be frowning, and her body was shrouded in light, like a cage of smoke. She sat upright, graceful and light. At this moment, under the irrigation of the surrounding heaven and earth energy, the woman's primordial spirit aura that made people tremble continued to rise. Bang! Suddenly, a muffled sound of an aura breaking through a bottleneck came from the woman's body, and her aura reached a new height. At the same time, with the woman as the center, a spatial wave appeared in the sky, and a large area of spatial ripples exploded. Boom! From the woman's glabella, circles of invisible light also burst out. That was a vast primordial spirit aura, and it swept in all directions like lightning. Sister Xingyu has successfully broken through. Feeling the vast primordial spirit aura in the sky, on a mountain peak not far away, a 14 or 15-year-old girl in green was shocked. Her long eyelashes were slightly curled, and her clear and bright eyes carried a faint green light. In the sky, the vast primordial spirit aura swept out like a tidal wave. Rumble. At this moment, this part of the world was trembling, and the aura was ancient and terrifying. In the sky, the primordial spirit aura swept out like a tidal wave, and after a while, it turned into an illusory and beautiful figure in front of the girl in green's shocked eyes. This illusory and graceful figure was exactly the same as the woman who was sitting cross-legged. She was graceful, and beautiful. She was so clean and pure that it made one feel as if she was otherworldly. However, the radiance in her eyes was so bright that no one dared to look at her directly. Is that Sister Xingyu's primordial spirit clone? It's so powerful! The girl in green's thin lips were as delicate as rose petals, and the curve of her lips was shocking. In the sky, the woman's illusory body seemed to be looking around curiously. After that, it slowly descended, and when it neared the woman below, it turned into a bright ball of light and plunged into the woman's glabella. After that, it disappeared. At the same time, the woman's body trembled slightly, and the ancient and terrifying primordial spirit aura that spread out from her body also started to dissipate slowly. On the surrounding mountain peaks, the primordial spirit aura that had lasted for a long time also started to weaken. In the end, it completely surrounded the woman and became faint and illusory. Moments after the last wisp of primordial spirit aura plunged into the woman's body, the woman who was sitting cross-legged opened her eyes. Boom! A bright light surged out from the woman's eyes, and the aura on her body swept out, shaking the surrounding space. In just an instant, the bright light in the woman's eyes was withdrawn, and her gaze became clear and clean. Feeling everything in her body, the woman extended her delicate hands and formed a hand seal. Immediately, from her delicate hands, 36 formation flags were formed in front of her. Boom! The 36 formation flags emitted a shocking fluctuation, causing the space in front of her to distort, revealing traces of pitch-black spatial cracks. 36 formation flags. That was the symbol of a 9-star initial region soul symbol master. This woman was in her early 20s, but she had already become a 9-star initial region soul symbol master. If there were people from the outside world here at this moment, it was unknown how shocked they would be. She was only in her early 20s. In the large clans and factions above Kyushu, who among the top peers in the one valley, 2 religions, 3 sects, and 3 factions could reach such a stage? At this moment, if the top younger generation above Kyushu were to be compared with this woman, they would probably be beaten into worms. This woman was a monster. Her cultivation speed and talent simply made those of the same generation outside not need to live anymore. Walala, 36 formation flags were formed, and then they dissipated in the woman's fair palm. Her eyes were clear and pure, so clean that it made people who looked at her feel as if they did not belong to the mortal world. She muttered softly, "I have finally stepped into the 9-star initial region." As her voice fell, the woman slowly stood up. She was graceful, and elegant. Her beauty could topple cities, stunning the world. "Congratulations on your breakthrough, Sister Xingyu." The green-clothed young lady's happy voice sounded, and she immediately went to the woman's side. "I have finally broken through. If I still didn't break through, I'm afraid Master would scold me again." The woman smiled slightly, and her face was filled with joy at this moment. "Little girl, don't tell me you don't like your master that much." A clear voice suddenly sounded, and a plain-clothed beautiful woman suddenly appeared in front of the woman and the green-clothed young lady. The plain-clothed woman was very beautiful, and she looked to be in her 40s. Her plain-clothed palace dress was simple and elegant, and she had a natural noble aura. "Master, why are you here?" Seeing this beautiful woman, the woman's delicate face instantly revealed a smile. She intimately held the beautiful woman's arm and shook it gently, saying, "Xingyu has missed you." "Greetings, madam." The green-clothed young lady looked at the beautiful woman, and her delicate little mouth secretly smacked her tongue. Then she stood aside in reverence. Chapter 1387. Do you miss me, or do you want to go down the mountain? The beautiful woman rolled her eyes at the girl. Although her expression was a little cold, it could not hide the affection in her eyes. Then her gaze flickered slightly and she said to the girl, "In the blink of an eye, time has passed quickly. It has already been so many years. Breaking through to 9 stars, you also have the right to go down the mountain to train. It will be beneficial for you in the future." "Thank you, Master." Hearing this, the girl's eyes immediately lit up with joy, appearing inexplicably happy. Time was like flowing sand. This girl was Dai Xingyu, who had only been a little girl back then. Now, she had already grown into a slender and elegant woman. Don't be happy too early. The great calamity of the world is coming. You have to train yourself this time. You have to be wary of people from the devil religion. Your cultivation of initial 9 stars is barely enough. Be careful. The beautiful woman looked at Dai Xingyu and said seriously, "Also, I have a mission for you. I will definitely do my best." After so many years, now that she could finally go down the mountain, Dai Xingyu was overjoyed. She agreed without hesitation. The beautiful woman looked at Dai Xingyu and said seriously, "When you go down the mountain this time, if you see someone called Fuibai, capture him and bring him to me." "Master, who is that Fuibai?" Dai Xingyu asked curiously. "An old bastard, the most cunning. If you see him, do not be fooled by his words. Just bring him to me," the beautiful woman said. "Oh." Dai Xingyu nodded and did not ask any more questions. Her gaze was already quietly looking ahead. With joy on her face, she murmured softly, "Aunt, Big Brother Xiaofu, I will be able to see you soon. Big Brother Xiaofu, you should be going back too." The space was simple and deep, grand and ancient. The mountains were connected, the cliffs were steep, and the trees were lush, covering several buildings. Early in the morning, the light blue sky was still embedded with a few scattered stars. The brilliant morning glow dyed half the sky red. The air in the mountains was filled with a thin veil-like mist. At the peak of the mountains, the energy of the world was fluctuating, as if a storm had just happened. A girl stood in the air, her eyes slightly closed, but her appearance was peerless. Her slender legs were alluring, and her tight clothes floated in the air, outlining her devilish figure and perfect figure. Buzz! The sound of wind and thunder resounded. A vast aura surged, causing the surrounding space to suddenly freeze and tremble. An extraordinary and dazzling spirit sword appeared in front of this beautiful woman at this moment, releasing an endless amount of pressure. Chi. Suddenly, the woman opened her eyes. Her eyes shone with a bright light that shot up into the sky. Chapter 1388. At the same time, the illusory image of the divine bird of Fang in the air slowly shrank. Finally, it transformed into a translucent beam of azure and red light. It flew straight into the sea of azure and red flames around it. The energy of heaven and earth in the sky dissipated. Then, within the sea of azure and red flames, the true form of the divine bird of Baifeng flapped its wings and floated out. The divine bird of Baifeng was shaped like a swan, a phoenix, and a crane. It stood on one leg, and its entire body was covered in red stripes and brilliant azure feathers. Accompanied by a terrifying pressure, it descended upon this ancient world. The divine bird of Baifeng's true form is really strong. Zhou Yu looked at the divine bird of Baifeng's true form in the air. Shock flashed through his eyes. Many gazes around him trembled. Roar! Many strange birds and beasts in the surroundings cried out. Under the pressure of the gigantic azure and red bird of Baifeng's true form, their beast souls trembled. Then, as the last of the energy of heaven and earth in the surrounding sky surged into the divine bird of Baifeng's body, its body began to emit an azure and red light. It was like a blooming lotus flower, spreading a dense fog. Finally, the vast expanse of azure and red light shrank to a size of several dozen feet. Within the hazy mist, a graceful figure appeared. The graceful figure was tall and slender. Her waist was slender, and her ink-black hair was as smooth as a waterfall. It extended all the way to her soft waist and perky buttocks. She was enchanting and graceful. When the energy of heaven and earth in the surroundings finally disappeared, the last wisp of energy dissipated as well. The figure's alluring figure became completely clear. A face so beautiful that it could cause the downfall of nations appeared before everyone's eyes. It was a beautiful woman in her early 20s. She had a youthful and seductive aura that coexisted naturally. Her long, curved eyelashes trembled. In the next instant, her tightly shut eyes opened. The azure and red light in her eyes seemed to solidify. It carried with it a terrifying aura that could incinerate all things as it shot into the sky. As the azure light bloomed, a powerful, surging aura shook the surrounding space violently. Boom! The terrifying aura filled the air. Many gazes from afar were shocked. Within the mountains, even the strange birds and beasts trembled in fear. Little Qing has stepped into the beast region. I wonder when I'll be able to reach the beast region's level. On the mountain peak below, beside the golden-clothed youth, the black-robed youth's pure black eyes were filled with envy. The woman stood in midair. Her alluring figure was curvaceous, and the dazzling green-red flames in her eyes slowly dissipated. Her eyes turned ethereal, and the aura around her swept away before quietly dissipating from the world. Little Qing, congratulations on breaking through to the beast region. You're not slow. The golden-clothed young man jumped into the air and landed next to the beautiful woman. His golden eyes were filled with joy. He was happy for her. The golden-robed young man was Du Xiaoyao in human form. The woman smiled at him. Her smile was like an epiphyllum flower, releasing a tranquil melody. She was so beautiful that people would fall in love with her. Even though she was bewitching, there was a kind of holy beauty to her. She said to the young man in golden clothes, "You are also very strong. Even Sister Xiao Luo said that you are very strong." The true form of the Baifeng divine bird was Du Shaoqing. Of course, Puma, I'm the red-bone horse monkey. Du Xiaoyao smiled proudly. Her eyes were filled with confidence. Afterwards, she looked at Du Shaoqing and smiled mischievously. You've broken through to the beast region now. I wonder what cultivation level that kid Du Xiaofu has reached. If we go out now, we should be able to beat him up. Back then in the dark forest, little demon Du still remembered that he had suffered quite a bit. These years in the farmer sect, his cultivation had advanced rapidly. He thought that he would be able to abuse that brat Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaoyao, don't you dare. Hearing this, Du Shaoqing immediately glared at Du Xiaoyao. Soon after, a slight smile appeared on her face. The gaze she used to look at Du Xiaoyao was warm and gentle within her pitch-black and ethereal eyes. However, it clearly contained a kind of disdain. She smiled and said, "It's fine. With Big Brother's talent, I'm afraid that it would be good if I don't torture you now." Du Shaoqing, I'm your big brother too. Can you not be so biased? Du Xiaoyao rolled her eyes at Du Shaoqing. She felt very wronged. This girl was being too biased. I'm not being biased. Du Xiaoyao smiled sweetly. She was charming and holy. Then her eyes sank as if she was thinking about something. After a while, she raised her head and looked at Du Xiaoyao. Her pure eyes rippled. I miss Big Brother, Big Sister Shuang and everyone. You've already broken through to the beast region. That old man shouldn't be stopping you from leaving, right? Du Xiaoyao's gaze shifted. From her expression, it seemed she was afraid of that old man. He's an elder of my clan. If he hears you being disrespectful to him again, you'll be the one to suffer. Du Shaoqing glanced at Du Xiaoyao and smiled gloatingly. That Du Xiaoyao's gaze was clearly fearful. Then her lips curled into a smile. If worst comes to worst, I'll just hide. I can't afford to offend that old man. Can't I avoid him? Just like last time, you've been hiding for half a year. Du Shaoqing looked down on Du Xiaoyao. You're touching a sore spot. Du Xiaoyao rolled her eyes. She looked helpless. I have to go tell Big Sister Xiao Luo that I want to go back to see Big Brother, Big Sister Shuang, and everyone else. All the Spirit Talisman Masters in the Central Plains could participate. The winners were the Medicine Talisman Master Champion, Array Talisman Master Champion, and Weapon Talisman Master Champion. In the end, the three champions would receive amazing prizes jointly provided by the various major forces. And it was during that grand event of the entire Central Plains that the artifact tyrant Guzong also participated, and he suppressed numerous top artifact and talisman masters of the younger generation of the Central Plains. But in the end, the champion was Gu Zhangyu. During that grand event in Zhongzhou, a puppet that Gu Zhangyu had refined was born. It directly injured a Nirvana Realm Martial Venerable expert with one move and won the championship. This caused the experts in the Ancient Heaven sect to be stunned. From then on, Gu Zhangyu's name went from a nobody to a well-known figure in Central State. It was said that when Gu Zhangyu's master in the Ancient Heaven sect found out that his disciple had won the Talisman Master competition in the Spirit Heaven Valley, he was shocked and moved to tears. After that, some curious people asked around and found out that Gu Zhangyu had another identity, and that was the person in charge of the Ancient Heaven sect's World Pavilion. The puppets in the World Pavilion were all refined with Gu Zhangyu as the leader. Over the years, he had refined countless puppets, and their powers were amazing. Hence, the name of puppet sects Gu Zhangyu spread. In the Ancient Heaven sect, Gu Zhangyu had completely become the leader of the younger generation. Because of his title as the person in charge of the World Pavilion and his ability to refine puppets, Gu Zhangyu's name in the Ancient Heaven sect gradually overshadowed Guzong's. To a certain extent, although Gu Zhangyu's strength had not reached the level of Shenling and Shui Ruhan, he was on the same level as Shenling and received the respect of all the disciples in the Ancient Heaven sect. Gu Zhangyu, who was able to refine such puppets, had refined many different types of puppets in the World Pavilion over the years. However, all of them had amazing powers and could be called a puppet grandmaster. From time to time, there would be some artifact talisman masters from various major forces who could refine puppets, as well as some famous artifact talisman masters from the central continent, who would come to the Ancient Heaven sect, hoping to exchange pointers with Gu Zhangyu, a famous artifact talisman master from various major forces who could refine puppets, had come to exchange pointers with a young disciple of the Ancient Heaven sect. This indirectly increased the Ancient Heaven sect's reputation by a lot. Even the elders of the Ancient Heaven sect treated Gu Zhangyu differently now. It could be said that Gu Zhangyu was no longer just a simple disciple of the Ancient Heaven sect, but also a puppet grandmaster. On each of her wrists, there was a palm-sized scimitar. Her healthy yellow skin faintly revealed a layer of rouge. Her bright eyes were as sharp as a female cheetah's. And with this kind of provocative attire, one didn't need to look carefully from afar to know that this woman was probably Qiao Yingmeng. Even if others wore such provocative attire, they definitely wouldn't be able to wear Qiao Yingmeng's seductive curves and slightly wild temperament. Tomorrow is the deadline. I wonder what decision the Alliance will make. In front of everyone, a sturdy and burly young man looked at the sky with a serious expression. He was the weapon tyrant, Gu Zong. His sturdy and burly body gave off an explosive feeling of power. He looked more like a martial arts cultivator than a spirit symbol master. Senior brother Gu, if we sell the puppets, it won't be good for us if the Alliance and the World Association go to war tomorrow. Mu Jiajia was still a little worried. She raised her head slightly and looked at Gu Zong. Gu Zong smiled and withdrew his serious expression. He then said to a young man beside him, "This seems to be your business." This young man looked to be in his 20s. He was very thin and not very tall. He was none other than Gu Zhangyu, who was currently popular in the Ancient Heaven sect. However, the current Gu Zhangyu was no longer as skinny and sallow as before, as if he had been abused in the Ancient Heaven sect and couldn't eat his fill. On his skinny face were two clear eyes. Although Gu Zhangyu's body was still skinny, there was an invisible aura around him. It carried a kind of charm that caused people to feel a little fearful when looking at him. Over the years, under Gu Zhangyu's leadership and with the backing behind him, the World Pavilion's development couldn't be described as the same as before. Outsiders couldn't even imagine how much resources the World Pavilion had right now. Let them buy the puppets. The more they sell, the better. Gu Zhangyu looked at the market. Suddenly, a faint chill flickered in his clear eyes as he said in a deep voice, "If someone really dares to go to war with the World Association tomorrow, then I've already fallen out with them. It doesn't matter how much I fall out with them. I wonder where the president is right now. If the president is here, I'm afraid that Dongli Qihuang won't have the chance to be so rampant." Qiao Yingmeng sighed. Her enchanting and graceful body moved a few steps before looking up at the sky. Her delicate body straightened a little, causing the curve of her chest under the soft armor and tight clothes to become even more alluring. All of them, including the golden peng zun 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 dash. If the world society is the lair of the evil spirits, we naturally can't let it go. However, there are many suspicious points in this matter, and we need to investigate thoroughly. In the Huijian sect, John Doe spoke. His expression had been silent, as if he was as cold as ice. The side of his face was as sharp as a knife, giving people a feeling of extreme sharpness. It was as if there was an invisible sharp edge all over his body, like an unsheathed sword. The three sheathed long swords of gold, white, and yellow on his back spread out like a fan, extremely eye-catching. Ming Rongin, nameless, is right. We need to investigate this matter further. Ninefold Spirit spoke and raised her head slightly. Under her red brocade clothes, there was a faint luster flowing on her sparkling skin. This is very simple. If the World Society and the Desolate Nation allow the Alliance army to enter and search tomorrow, then the result will naturally be clear. However, if the Desolate Nation and the World Society stop them, then the result is self-evident. Dongli Qihuang's gaze swept across everyone in the tent. He was at a loss, and his expression darkened. An invisible wave of meaning emanated from his body, and he said in a deep voice, "As the leader of the Purifying Evil Alliance, I give a secret order. Tomorrow morning, the Alliance army will cross the river to cleanse the evil spirits. Whoever dares to stop them will be killed without mercy. I hope that everyone will not forget the original intention of the Purifying Evil Alliance. Also, don't forget that I am the leader of the Purifying Evil Alliance. Hearing this, Ninefold Spirit, Nameless, Ming Rongin, and Jiang Rolan, who had yet to express their opinions, had a slight change in their expressions. In the end, they did not say anything. The existence of evil spirits in the world society was basically confirmed from the ancient heaven sect's attitude. Even if they knew that Dongli Chihuang might want to take the opportunity to suppress the desolate nation and the world society, they had to be cautious at this moment. The evil spirits wreaked havoc, and the other 8 continents suffered greatly. Everywhere, there were cries, and blood flowed like rivers. Therefore, the evil spirits in the central continent must be cleansed. If someone makes a move against the world society tomorrow, then they will be the enemy of the ancient heaven sect. No matter who it is, the ancient heaven sect will not be polite. I apologize to everyone first. Once we make a move tomorrow, the ancient heaven sect will not be polite. The venerable Golden Rock stood up and looked at the several old men and old women in the tent. He cupped his fists slightly. His aura was originally calm, but at this moment, there was an invisible wave of aura on his body, revealing an unconcealable dominance and fierceness. He then turned and left. Yes, a cultivator from the ancient heaven sect nodded and left. The night was as dark as ink, so dark that it could not be dissolved. The moon was dim and the stars were bright, and the sky was dotted with twinkling stars. With the relationship between the Profound Talisman sect and the World Meeting, we have done enough for the World Meeting. This time, we will advance and retreat together with the World Meeting. If we are careless, the Profound Talisman sect will be doomed eternally. Du Xiaofu is not ordinary, but he has nothing to do with you. From what I know, Du Xiaofu has many beauties in the World Meeting. Moreover, we don't know whether Du Xiaofu is alive or dead, and his whereabouts are unknown. He should still be pursued by the Devil Religion and the Divine Light Court. Is it worth it? You are the young lady of the Profound Talisman sect. The sect master intends to make you the next sect master. You have the responsibility to consider the entire Profound Talisman sect. An old woman beside Zhu Shui said. Her eyes were as bright as stars on her aged face. Zhu Shui stared at the sky. She had a slender figure and a face as white as jade. She looked back and said to the old woman beside her, Elder, I know what I am doing. I also know that if I am careless, the Profound Talisman sect will be doomed eternally. However, I believe that Xiaofu will be fine. He will return to the Central Plains one day. If the Profound Talisman sect is in danger one day, I believe that Xiaofu will help me as much as I do, or even more. Elder, please believe me. You little girl. The old woman sighed. Looking at Zhu Shui, she said softly, I hope that Du Xiaofu will know what you are doing. I also hope that your wish will come true. Du Xiaofu will return to the Central Plains one day. With his talent, he will not be inferior to Dongli Chihuang. He will be able to achieve great things. In the mountains and valleys, a faint evil aura filled the air. Swoosh! A golden-haired young man in a red robe appeared in the valleys. It was Dongli Chihuang from the Great Will sect. Walala! As Dongli Chihuang appeared, an evil aura filled the valleys. At the same time, a black fog vortex appeared, and a black and blood-red figure appeared. Although the figure was solid, it was also slightly illusory. Its blood-red eyes were especially frightening in the deep valleys. The aura emitted from the black and blood-red figure could freeze the void. There should be nothing for me to do. I have already done what I came here to do. The black and blood-red figure looked at Dongli Chihuang. Its blood-red eyes rippled. There is indeed nothing for you to do. Find a place to hide. Dongli Chihuang said indifferently. The black and blood-red figure looked at Dongli Chihuang and said, I have lost a lot during this period of time. Blood Soul, you escaped from the Thunder region and I helped you to settle down in the Central region. You have lost a lot during this period of time, But don't think that I don't know that the Alliance army has also lost a lot of people. You have also gained a lot of benefits. Your cultivation has also improved a lot. Dongli Chihuang looked at the black and blood-red figure. His spirit's gorgeous eyes dimmed. He then waved his hand and a ring of light spread out from his palm. The space rippled a little and two figures appeared from the light ripples. A bloody aura immediately gushed out. These two are the people you want. Their cultivation is not weak. Remember, find a place to hide and don't come out for a while. As soon as his voice fell, Dongli Chihuang handed the two figures in his palm to the person called Blood Soul. The figure then mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Kiki, looking at Dongli Chihuang's disappearing figure, the Blood Soul smiled sinisterly. He then looked at the two figures in his hand and a little greed appeared in his blood-red eyes. His figure then disappeared. Roar! In front of millions of mountains, on the bank of the central region's 8,000 miles long river, in the silent night, there was a shocking roar of a beast from time to time. Splash! On the vast 8,000 miles long river of the central region, there was also a huge demonic beast leaping out from time to time. It then jumped into the water and caused huge waves to sweep out. The night was dark and the beast roars were endless. For no reason, the world society and the desolate country's army gathered on the banks of the central region's long river looked solemn and nervous. In the temporary tent, there were many people sitting in it. They all looked solemn and no one spoke. Everyone's eyes fell on Du Yunlong, who was sitting in the front of the tent. Du Yunlong's eyes were slightly closed. A message jade slip in his hand flashed and then gradually dimmed. Finally, the jade slip cracked and shattered. Tiske. Immediately after, Du Yunlong opened his eyes. Lightning flashed in his eyes as he glanced at the people in the tent. Familiar figures appeared one by one. At this moment, Medicine King Yi Wuming, Murong Yurwa Yi Zijin, Li Shui, Black Dragon King, Solitary Sword King, Golden Condor King, Chao Yu, Hua Fan Kong, Han Exin, Guokun, Meng Lai Kai, and others were all in the tent. In addition, there was the current king of the desolate country, North Vanquishing Prince, Xia Tianhong, South Vanquishing Prince, East Vanquishing Prince, Ouyang Ling, Yuan Shanshan, Wan Sanpang from the Myriad Clouds Pavilion, Mu Mingqing, and Mu Zhenghao from the Mu family fort. They were all in the tent. At this moment, there were many young men and women sitting in the tent. All of them were very powerful and sat quietly. The one at the front was an otherworldly lady. There was a faint glow in her beautiful eyes. Beside this lady was an extraordinary young man. His aura seemed to be able to dominate the sky and suppress the mountains and rivers. Under the protection of the barren country, the entire barren country was peaceful and the lives of the people were getting better and better. Even things like dominating the market and bullying the weak were rare. All the citizens of the barren country knew that this was all thanks to the efforts of the barren country's Du family. It was because of the barren country's protection that they could live such a life. Now that the evil purifying alliance was about to enter the desolate country, it was destined that blood would flow like a river. Everywhere they passed would probably be turned into ashes and razed to the ground. All of the citizens of the desolate country were strongly against it. The moonlight was faint and the starlight was twinkling. Under the night sky, two figures quietly appeared in the sky above the barren country's stone city. The two figures were one old and one young. The young one was a woman. She wore a long green dress and looked to be about 25 or 26 years old. Her green dress fluttered in the wind, and her black hair fell to her perky buttocks. The delicate contours of her face revealed an otherworldly beauty. The old one was an old woman in a plain dress. She looked senile, but as she hovered in the air, she looked vigorous. Her face was full of wrinkles, as if the vicissitudes of time were written on it. Miss Xiaojing, this is the stone city. Looking at the vast stone city below, the old woman said softly to the otherworldly woman beside her. Her wrinkled face seemed to have seen the vicissitudes of life, but her eyes were deep and spirited in the night sky. Granny Ming, I can feel it. This is the place where my brother grew up. The woman's green dress fluttered, and her eyes shone. She kept looking around, as if she was curious about everything. For such a small place to be able to produce such a young man, this place must be extraordinary. The old woman also looked around curiously. Then she looked kindly at the woman and smiled. "He's my brother. It's not strange." The woman raised her head and looked at the old woman. Her eyes were firm, and there was a smile on her face. Her smile could topple a city. Then her eyes swept across the vast stone city below, and her eyes moved slightly. She said, "Many people are praying to the heavens. Did something happen?" This is unexpected." The old woman looked ahead. In the vast and majestic palace, there was a bright light under the night sky. It was like a bright moon, releasing its brilliance. Hearing this, the woman in the green dress followed the old woman's gaze. On her otherworldly face, her ethereal eyes also looked at the palace. Her eyes were like stars, and the corners of her red lips moved. She said softly, "Granny Ming, it seems to be related to you. There seems to be the aura of the grass of immortality." "That's strange." The old woman smiled and looked ahead. Her figure suddenly flew out, and in the next moment, the old woman appeared in front of the palace. The woman in the green dress smiled. Her eyes were filled with anticipation, nervousness, excitement, and longing. She muttered softly, "Father, brother, Xiao Jing is here to look for you. Will you wait for me at home? I miss you so much." As she muttered, the beautiful figure of the woman in the green dress disappeared into thin air. In the next moment, when the woman in the green dress appeared again, she was beside the old woman in front of the palace of the desolate country. "Miss Xiaojing, we are here. But according to the news from the clan, your brother seems to have disappeared. Your father has not appeared either." The old woman looked at the woman in the green dress. Her eyes were filled with love. The woman in the green dress did not speak. She looked at a small mountain range in front of the vast palace. It was also a place where light shone. There was energy everywhere, and the palace's dragon aura rippled around it. Whoosh! A strange fluctuation appeared in the space. The woman in the green dress seemed to have discovered something. Step by step, she walked through the air and slowly stepped forward. She entered the palace of the desolate country. The palace of the desolate country had an array set up by the sacred array prodigy Zhen Qingchun. If a stranger wanted to break in, even an ordinary martial domain realm cultivator would not be able to do so. However, at this moment, this otherworldly woman in a green dress calmly entered the imperial palace. It should be a talisman array set up by the descendants of that old man. It's not bad. The old woman looked around the palace of the desolate country. Then, she entered the palace without causing any disturbance. Chapter 1395. In the imperial palace of the barren country, a woman in a green dress flew across the sky. Her face was solemn. She had an impression of a young man who was mocked and ridiculed as a fool since he was young in this small border city. Outside the Du family, the originally barren mountain was now filled with light and energy. Inside the seal, two great treasures, the dark seeker grass and the immortal grass, were growing luxuriantly, bringing great benefits to the stone city. "It's here." The woman in the green dress landed outside the Du family. It was as if she had seen a young man sitting alone in the barren mountain, enduring all the ridicule and ridicule. Occasionally he would smile, showing disregard and indifference to all the ridicule and ridicule. "Pain, why is it so painful?" Suddenly, the woman in the green dress felt a sharp pain in her heart. It was as if a knife was being twisted in her heart. Looking at the light in front of her and the place filled with energy, she stepped across the space and directly stepped in. The powerful seal was extraordinary. It was set up by the divine array prodigy, Zhen Qingchun. Inside the seal, two spiritual grasses covered the entire mountain. They were so luxuriant that they covered the sky and the earth. Light shot into the sky, and energy fluctuations filled the entire stone city. The woman in the green dress walked to the center of the mountain, trembling with each step. When she reached the roots of the immortal grass and the dark seeker grass, she bent down and scooped up a handful of soil. Her clear eyes were moist, and two lines of tears could not stop flowing down her beautiful face, drop by drop. "Brother, for me to live, you suffered so much." the woman in the green dress murmured. Her heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. In the soil, she could feel the aura of her brother, who she had never seen before, and the endless pain. Miss Xiaojing, don't be sad. Your brother is still alive in the end. The old woman's figure silently appeared behind the woman in the green dress. Looking at the woman in the green dress, her deep eyes were full of heartache. Granny Ming, I'm not sad. I'm happy. The woman in the green dress put the dirt in her hands into her cosmos bag. She stood up gracefully and a smile appeared in her moist eyes. She said, I felt everything. Big Brother was buried here, but he was also reborn in this miraculous place and obtained great benefits. This is indeed a miracle. The old woman looked at the lush dark inside grass and immortal grass around her and was also surprised. In the center of the imperial palace, the Du residence had retained its original appearance, leaving behind a large mountain. After a while, the woman in the green dress appeared at the back mountain of the Du clan. Her eyes were filled with joy, as if she had seen the youth grow up in the mountains once again. Xiaofu, when they saw that exquisite and beautiful face, which clearly belonged to an otherworldly woman, all the old men of the Du family were dumbfounded. That face was too similar. However, upon closer inspection, one could tell that it was not the Du clan's third young master that everyone in the Du clan was praying for. Instead, it was a woman who looked incomparably similar. The similarity of the green-dressed woman caused all the elders of the Du clan to be stunned. They faintly felt that there was some connection between the two of them. Otherwise, how could there be such a similar person in the world? You are... At this moment, after Du Junwu recovered from his shock, his body suddenly trembled. He did not know much about his third brother. However, over the years, Du Junwu had faintly learned a few things. Especially when Du Xiaofu had his heart dug out. Even if Du Xiaofu did not say anything, Du Junwu was still able to guess a lot of things. The green-dressed woman looked at Du Junwu as her moist eyes slowly regained their calm. She suddenly bowed and respectfully said, Niece Du Xiaojing greets eldest uncle. Xiaojing, Du Xiaojing, you really are third brother's child. Du Junwu trembled as if he had been struck by lightning. Then, he cried tears of joy as he stepped forward and helped Du Xiaojing up. His eyes were also filled with hot tears as he said, Child, quickly get up. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're home. Third brother Tingshuan's daughter is back. Moments later, everyone in the Du clan was in a state of panic. Tingxian has another daughter? Why don't we know about it? Some aunties of the Du clan asked in surprise. None of them knew about this. She should be Xiaofu's twin. She looks exactly the same and is otherworldly. One look and you can tell that she's not an ordinary person. An elder said. He had just seen it with his own eyes. She looks exactly like Xiaofu. How can a girl be otherworldly? Some aunties of the Du clan joked. At this moment, only Du Junwu, several respected elders of the Du clan, Du Xiaojing and Elder Ming were present in the main hall of the Du clan. Du Xiaojing sat upright as she learned about her brother and father from her eldest uncle, Du Junwu. She frowned at times and felt worried at other times. Your father's whereabouts have always been unknown. However, Zijin of the Yi clan and your brother both said that your father should have obtained great benefits on the Tianhuang continent. He might need some time to return, but it's already been several years. The Devil Religion and the Divine Light Court worked together and destroyed the Seven-Star Hall. Your brother's whereabouts are unknown. It's said that he once appeared in the Shang province. Later on, he seemed to have appeared in the Beast region as well. However, he has always been pursued by the Divine Light Court and the Devil Religion. There hasn't been any news of him for a very long time. Du Junwu's expression turned serious as he told Du Xiaojing everything he knew. The return of his third brother's daughter should have been a joyous occasion. However, given the current situation that the Du clan and the entire desolate nation were facing, Du Junwu was unable to truly feel happy. The Devil Religion, the Divine Light Court. Du Xiaojing's red lips parted slightly when she heard that. Her expression was cold as an invisible presence silently rippled out from her body. What a powerful aura! However, that silent aura carried a terrifying pressure that instantly caused the expressions of Du Junwu and the old man from the Du clan to change. Under that pressure, all of their bodies trembled, and they were almost on the verge of collapsing. They were unable to resist. Elders, Uncle, Xiaojing has no intention of doing so. I'm sorry. However, Du Xiaojing immediately withdrew the invisible aura from her body and hurriedly apologized to Du Junwu and the elders of the Du clan. What a powerful girl. Her aura is no weaker than Xiaofu's. The elders of the Du clan and Du Junwu shook their heads and smiled bitterly. They didn't mind, but they were still deeply shocked by that aura and pressure. Du Xiaojing smiled. Although she had never set foot in the Du clan before, she was incomparably familiar with it. She looked around the hall and said, "Uncle, was this desolate nation built by my brother?" "That's right. Not only the desolate nation, but also the world society were built by your brother when he was young. Over the years, they have become stronger and stronger." As Du Junwu spoke, his eyes were filled with pride and satisfaction. He continued, "Your brother said that he wants to build a wealthy family that belongs to him." Build a wealthy family that belongs to him. The corners of Du Xiaojing's delicate lips moved slightly. Her eyes were smiling as she softly muttered, as if she could sense something. There was no need for words to understand. On the other hand, when Elder Ming beside him heard this, a slight fluctuation appeared in his eyes on his aged face. "That's right, Uncle, where are Sister Xiaoman and Brother Yunlong? Why aren't they here? There are also many people in the desolate nation praying to the heavens. Did something happen recently?" Du Xiaojing asked. She already knew some of the members of the Du clan from the picture scroll back then. At this moment, she felt that the atmosphere in the Du clan and the desolate nation was extremely heavy and oppressive. Everything is because of the evil purifying alliance. Du Junwu sighed softly. He roughly told Du Xiaojing about the evil purifying alliance in the central region and sighed. "According to the news your brother Yunlong sent back, the evil purifying alliance will start a war with the desolate nation tomorrow. At that time, I'm afraid that the odds are against them. Your brother Xiaofu's whereabouts is still unknown." Tomorrow morning, the evil purifying alliance. Hearing this, Du Xiaojing stood up. Her long black hair poured down from the back of her head as she softly said, "Even if my brother isn't here, I'm still here." Chapter 1396. Miss Xiaojing, it's not convenient for you to participate in the matters of the outside world. Elder Ming raised his head and smiled helplessly on his wrinkled face. "Granny Ming, this is not a matter of the outside world. It's my brother's matter. The wealthy family my brother wants to build includes me." Du Xiaojing smiled. Her green dress swayed slightly, and her eyes shone brightly like an immortal. In the vast golden lightning space of the golden-winged great rocks, the shockingly domineering and destructive aura had already dissipated. Everything had become docile. Only the primordial spirit energy in Du Xiaofu's Naiwen Palace was still madly increasing. Waves of aura undulated from between his eyebrows and continued to rise. Whoosh! As this aura rose, silver-gold electric arcs flowed from between Du Xiaofu's eyebrows. Vast and majestic primordial spirit energy swept out from his body, accompanied by the silver net soul-devouring lightning, earth-shattering lightning, golden crow sky-burning lightning, and the pressure of the spirit root. This primordial spirit aura was simply abnormal. At this moment, the primordial spirit energy emanating from between Du Xiaofu's eyebrows was enough to directly crush the primordial spirit of a spirit talisman master of the same level. The primordial spirit energy, which was the most difficult to cultivate, rose unhindered in front of Du Xiaofu. Time quietly passed. It was unknown when the rising primordial spirit aura on Du Xiaofu's body would calm down. The first rays of dawn slowly pulled open the curtains of the night. When the first ray of light shot through the mist, it was another quiet and colorful morning. 8,000 miles of the central province's long river was a vast mountain range with millions of mountains and towering cliffs. It was majestic and magnificent. Roar. Early in the morning, the roars of many demonic beasts could be heard everywhere in the mountain range and the vast waters. Countless auras surged, revealing a murderous aura that froze the world. Countless giant ships crossed the waters, and countless figures were entrenched. The densely packed figures covered the sky and covered the sun. When the first ray of light shot through the mist in the sky, there were thousands of figures in the air in front of the densely packed figures. Their auras were even more terrifying. These thousands of figures were the experts from the Ancient Heaven sect, Profound Charm sect, and Desolate Countries World Society. Venerable Golden Rock, Elder Gu Qingyang, Elder Hu Sangkuan, Elder Qiong Mingze, Evil Spirit, Shui Ruhen, Mi Zixia, Si Ruofeng In, Mo Chen, Zhu Shui, Shen Yan, Guoming, and the others were all present. Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, Yi Wuming, Murong Yura, Yi Zijin, the Silver-Winged Demonic Condor, North Vanquishing Prince, the General, and Gu Xinyan were also at the front. The sound was deafening, causing the waves of the long river in Zhongzhou to surge. The strong enemy is attacking. Barren Country's men, World Society's disciples, and Heavenly Beast Hall's beast soldiers, you must retreat. Looking at the overwhelming figures and the vast aura in front of him, Du Yunlong stomped his foot and leaped into the air. He waved his hand and looked behind him at the Barren Country, World Society, and Heavenly Beast Hall's demonic beast army. His voice reverberated. The Barren Country only has warriors who die in battle. There are no cowards who retreat. Yi Zijin stepped into the air. Her dress fluttered, and a vast aura swept across the area. The World Society only has disciples who die in battle. There are no deserters who retreat. Hua Fankong escaped with a step, and his voice surged. The Heavenly Beast Hall's beast soldiers will never retreat. The silver-winged demonic condor flew across the sky. Demonic aura was overbearing and unparalleled. Roar! Fight them to the death. Kill. In an instant, the shocking roars of demonic beasts and the sounds of killing resounded like thunder from the Barren Country's World Society's army. It caused the entire Zhong province's long river to tremble like a tsunami. Rumor has it that the World Society's army and the Heavenly Beast Hall's demonic beast army are ferocious. They live up to their reputation. Many of the surrounding Profound Talisman sect's disciples had already heard of the rumors. Although the World Society had yet to reach the pinnacle of strength, the army of the World Society and the demonic beast army were incomparably ferocious and ruthless. Now that they saw the World Society's army with such imposing manner in the face of the Alliance's army, they were all secretly amazed. Looking at the army in front of him, Du Yunlong smiled. He turned around and looked at the Alliance's army in front of him. Lightning flashed in his eyes. His long hair and cloud robe fluttered. He shouted, "If you dare to take a step into the Zhong province's long river, kill." The World Society is already involved with the evil spirits. For the evil spirits' lair, kill without mercy. From the Alliance's army in front, a cold and eerie voice sounded. Kill. In an instant, the battle cries were deafening. Figures that blotted out the sky and covered the earth rushed over. Those who offend my desolate country, kill. Du Yunlong waved his hand. With his body as the center, lightning flashed. Wind rose and clouds surged. Dark clouds suddenly rolled and gathered. The sound wave was like thunder from the ninth heaven, resounding through the Zhong province's long river. The warships move first. The demonic beast soldiers will be the main attack. The desolate country's World Society's army will attack the flanks. Murong Yorua said. Her ancient temperament was filled with killing intent at this moment. Kill! Then, it flew wildly and locked onto an Lingjun of the Spirit Sky Valley. Kill! Gu Xinyan, General, Ghost Child, Guo Xiaofeng, Li Yuxiao, Wu Kei, Tang Wu Yifeiyu, and the others also rushed out immediately. They blocked the young experts of the Spirit Sky Valley, the Great Wheel Sect, and the Sky Snake Sect. Fight. Yin Machen, Si Ruofeng Mi Zixia, Guoming, and the other top young experts of the Ancient Heaven sect and the Black Talisman sect had also rushed out. North Vanquishing King, Absolute Sword King, Golden Condor King, Black Dragon King, and the others didn't stop either. The battle was about to start. Rumble. Terrifying attacks landed one after another, causing deafening sounds to be heard above the central region's long river. powerful energy spread out and spread across the land. The energy swept across as if the sky was falling and the earth was cracking. Killing intent surged. Chapter 1397. Kill. A tall and sturdy young man with bronze-colored skin stood out. His facial features were well-defined and deep. His aura surged like a giant dragon in the sky. His aura could suppress mountains and rivers. He was a general of Tianwu Academy. He strode across the river and killed everything in his path. "Bastard, do you think there's no one in the desolate country?" Yu Shao coldly shouted. On his bright and clean white face, his deep dark red eyes were suffused with a red glow. A kind of indescribable majesty and demonic aura erupted. His long red hair danced in the wind as he actually erupted with an aura that was not inferior to that of a general as he began his massacre. Set up the array. Under the cover of Ghost Child, Wu Kei, Guo Xiaofeng, and the others, Gu Xinyan's beautiful eyes glowed as she set up a talisman array. Instantly, under the cover of the array, a large number of the Alliance army was trapped and exploded one after another. Du family disciples kill. Within the desolate country's army, several figures suddenly appeared behind Du Xiaomen. Those familiar figures were Du Shui, Du Yu, Du Gui, Du Chong, Du Hao and the rest of the younger generation of the Du family. The Du family had been quietly growing in strength over the years. Only Du Shui and Du Yu were the most famous in the ancient Sky sect and had become the strongest among their generation. There were rumors that Du Yu had fought with Shen Ling and had not been defeated in the end. At this moment, Du Gui, Du Chong, Du Hao and the rest were in the sky. Many of them had reached the martial honorable realm. These figures stepped out into the sky as their auras surged and covered their lightning martial veins. In an instant, thunderclouds gathered in the sky as purple lightning raged. The pressure was so great that it made everyone want to prostrate themselves. Those who invade the desolate country, kill. Du Yu, Du Shui, Du Hao, Du Gui, and the other disciples of the Du family charged out, and it was as if there was a purple thunderstorm in midair. Their murderous aura swept through the sky, and everywhere they passed, the Alliance army suffered countless casualties. They retreated continuously, trembling in fear. Du Yunlong, let's stop the war. As long as the World Congress has nothing to do with the desolate country and the evil spirits, we will try our best not to harm the innocent. We will only purge the evil spirits. Ninefold spirits figure swept out and looked at Du Yunlong, Murong Yurhua, and Yi Wuming, who were overseeing the entire situation in midair. Her eyes were filled with divine light, like the stars in the sky. The 9 scars on her bald head were like 9 mysterious runes, flickering with light, as if a deity had descended to earth. Du Yunlong, let's stop the war. At this moment, the figure of a skinny young man quietly appeared in the sky. He was the person in charge of the World Pavilion, Gu Zhangyu of the Puppet Sect. However, there was a sinister smile in Gu Zhangyu's eyes. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.